What's good, y'all? It's your boy Church Buddy. We hope you're having a blessed day today. We're gonna check out juice boxes while only children get to drink them. To be honest, sure, if I see juice box, I drink it now. But somebody made a comment say we drink the bigger juice boxes. And they were talking about wine. I don't drink that, but we bought a container of juices, so I guess that's our juice box. But let's check out the video and see what they say.
A ubiquitous part of school lunches throughout much of the world, and we all love them for it. But how did they infiltrate our lunchboxes to become one of the biggest staples of childhood? Well, today we're going to take a look at how juice boxes took over school lunches. Before we get started, be sure to subscribe to the Weird History Food channel. After that, please leave a comment and let us know what other lunchroom foods you would like to hear about. Okay, time to poke a straw into a nice, juicy box of Weird History food. It feels like juice boxes have been around since the dawn of civilization, but the truth is they were invented by a guy named Reuben Rosing in 1963. Rosing hailed from Sweden, but it wasn't until he was studying economics at Columbia University in New York that he first encountered a self-service grocery store. It was still a relatively new phenomenon, but Rosing correctly identified it as the wave of the future. After returning to Sweden in 1920, he started a packaging company that specialized in dry food cartons, and that company became a leader in its field. But Rosing quickly realized that dry food was only one part of the market. Liquids, like milk and juice, were still being sold in heavy glass bottles, and Rosing suspected that the growth of self-service grocery stores would create a demand for lighter, more convenient ways to carry those fluids. To that end, he set out to use modern technology to produce stable, efficient cartons that could reliably contain liquid products. But getting it right didn't happen overnight. In fact, it actually took decades of development. Inspired by cartons made of wax paper, Rosing's company eventually developed a plastic-coated carton, which it patented in 1944. Later, in 1951, he started a company called Tetra Pak, and in 1952, that company started selling early versions of its products to a local Swedish dairy. Tetra Pak's business slowly started to grow in Sweden, and over the next few years, it would expand into Germany, France, and Italy. Even after all that, things wouldn't really take off until the invention of what Rosing called the Tetra Brick package in 1963. Thanks to a technology called aseptic processing, liquids in a Tetra Brick package didn't require refrigeration, and the aseptic processed Tetra Brick package is what we now think of as a juice box.
Oh, wow. Innovator.
In case you go back in time and find yourself in a situation where you need to invent the juice box the way Marty McFly invented the skateboard, grab a pen. Juice boxes are made from polyethylene, aluminum foil, and something called liquid packaging board, which is basically 6 layers of paper. The paper makes the box, the aluminum foil keeps light and air out, and the polyethylene is the outer layer you print all the graphics and other information on. It may never come up, but if it does, now you can do it. The Tetra Brick was initially considered ideal for sales in developed countries and hot climates, but once it was on the market, Tetra Pak's business exploded. The brick's advantages were obvious, and it quickly became the standard for storing everything from milk and juice to sauce and soup. Or at least it did in Europe. You see, back then, Europeans tended to have small refrigerators, and in addition to all the other cool stuff it could do, the Tetra Brick was a nice compact space-saving device. But over in the US, people tended to have big refrigerators, and space wasn't really at a premium, so American manufacturers weren't as quick to adopt the Tetra Brick. That being said, even for Americans, there was at least one food-related area where the advantages of the Tetra Brick became quickly apparent: juice storage for kids. Kids spend a lot of time away from home, especially when school is in session. That means they also spend a lot of time away from refrigerators, which is where juice needs to be stored to avoid spoilage. Tetra Bricks, however, allowed kids to tote their juice supply around with them in a convenient package that easily fits into a lunchbox. And they're virtually impossible to spill. They also allowed parents to stock up on the kind of juice their kids like, and then store it anywhere from the kitchen cabinet to the trunk of a car without having to worry about it going bad. Despite the popularity, American consumers found it difficult to drink from those early juice boxes. It could have been a big stumbling block for the Tetra Brick, but while preparing to introduce it to the US marketplace, a designer named Lynn Tilley came up with the idea of including a bendable straw with the package and adding a hole to the top that the straw could perforate. The juice box bendy straw has been widely hailed as the single most important invention in human history. Citation needed. And the first juice boxes, complete with bendy straws, started appearing in American supermarkets in the early 1980s. The juice box has been a standard part of the American schoolyard experience ever since. The answer to who made the first juice box greatly depends on how you define juice box. For example, the juice concentrate-based product Capri Sun was being sold in pouches on the German market as early as 1969. But Capri Sun comes in a pouch, so technically not a juice box. When it comes to box-shaped juices, the first was likely a brand called Adam and Eve, which started using Tetra Brick style packaging for its apple juice as early as 1982. Their ads even feature a trademark next to the word juice box, indicating that the term itself was still so new they thought they could own it. They don't, in case you were wondering. Those early ads boasted that the contents of a juice box would stay fresh for 6 months and wouldn't leave a plastic or tinny taste in the mouth of the consumer. They weren't hyper-focused on selling to school kids yet, but they did state that juice boxes were ideal for singles, kids, and people on the go. Although that singles claim may have been wishful thinking. To date, Juicy Juice has not made an appearance at the club. Shortly after their release, the juice box market exploded. One of the first big manufacturers to jump on the bandwagon was the Coca-Cola subsidiary Minute Maid, which started advertising its apple, grape, and grapefruit flavored juice boxes in 1983. Soon after the Minute Maid boxes hit the market, Hi-C followed suit and started advertising their juice boxes on television. Demand for Tetra Brick soared, and Tetra Pak's US affiliate saw sales jump up over $100 million by the end of 1983. Business analysts predicted that the market for juice boxes would only continue to grow, and the company could barely build new factories fast enough to keep up with the growing demand. The rest, as they say, is juice box history.
Can I just get a 32 Bloody Wilds at coconut cream?
Of course. This one, is it yum? Is it good?
Yeah.
By the end of the 1980s, juice boxes were as synonymous with childhood as cartoons and chickenpox. But there was a dark side to the seemingly flawless invention. In 1989, the New York Times published an article detailing the complaints of environmentalists who weren't really loving the whole juice box thing. Turns out, the recycling facilities at the time, which were designed to process common materials like glass, aluminum, and plastic, weren't equipped to handle the kinds of materials used to make juice boxes. Long story short, the boxes just collect in landfills. As of 2017, 25% of Tetra Pak's products were being recycled, and the company even bragged that it would have that rate up to 40% by 2020, though it later backed down on that claim. Of course, recycling only works if people remember to separate the recyclables from the trash, and kids aren't great at that. Some schools have even banned juice boxes because their youngest students don't understand how to properly dispose of them. The packaging isn't the only controversy. There's also what's inside the juice boxes, the juice itself. First of all, many juice boxes don't contain 100% juice, and even many of the ones that do aren't quite what they seem. The trick is that 100% juice doesn't mean the same thing as 100% fruit, which is to say, a product that's 100% juice could contain the juices of more than one type of fruit, be made from a concentrate, or even contain various additives. Juicy Juice, for example, advertises itself as 100% juice, but is actually made from fruit juice concentrate, and certain varieties even contain additives like sugar and preservatives. And speaking of sugar, even totally naturally fruit juice juice is pretty dang sweet, and while it's tempting to think being natural makes it better for you, it doesn't. The sugar found in juice is just as bad for you as the sugar found in soda. For nutritional purposes, the World Health Organization barely even differentiates between the two. The American Academy of Pediatrics recommends limiting the juice intake of kids aged 1 to 6 to just 4 to 6 ounces a day. Kids aged 7 to 10 can have 8 to 12 ounces a day. After that, the pediatricians don't care. It's someone else's problem. According to Ranker, the most popular juice boxes are the ones made by Capri Sun, which were arguably the first on the market. You can't beat a true original. But if you're bothered by the fact Capri Sun technically comes in a juice pouch instead of a juice box, the next most popular brands are made by Kool-Aid, Hi-C, Minute Maid, Tropicana, and Juicy Juice. And in case you were wondering, Apple and Eve, the company that originally kicked off Juice Box Mania in the US, is now the 9th most popular. Just like McDonald's Happy Meals, juice boxes are just something you're gonna have to deal with if you become a parent. But it's not all junk food. The less added sugar, the better. And try to avoid any brand whose ingredients go beyond fruit juice, water, and vitamins. That's where the concentrate and other additives sneak in. But if you don't have kids, just grip it and rip it. Some of those straw punches are so tough, they have to be made for adults. So what do you think? What was your favorite?
And that's true. Like, if you read the labels, it's not, some of them not 100% like fruit juice. Some say 10%, some say 5%. So you gotta read them labels. But juice boxes, part of my childhood, I'm sure part of a whole lot of people's childhood. Kool-Aid Jammers, Hi-C, Minute Maid for sure. So they still relevant today. Capri Sun, I didn't drink that many Capri Sun until like maybe middle school. Mostly Kool-Aid Jammer and Hi-C in elementary. So like it's still going. So like just gotta read the labels to make sure that your kid actually drinking juice from fruit instead of just sugar and other preservatives. So just be watchful for that and you be good. So hope y'all enjoyed the video. I thank the Most High. He love you, I love you, and y'all have a great day. Take care of yourself, stay safe, and let me know if you have children, what type of juice box you get your children. What brand do they drink from? Minute Maid, Hi-C, Kool-Aid Jammer, Apple and Eve. Y'all let me know, man, because you know it's interesting to see. It's not surprising they still going, because as long as kids still here, they're going to still be making money. So, yeah, have a blessed one and take care.